Can we talk about the Bristol Scout a little
Sure.
bit? Because that's there's not very many people that have ever built an airplane, let alone built a World War I airplane, let alone with an original engine, and flown it.
Yeah.
And
No,
there's very, very few. When did you get the idea that maybe I should build an airplane? Would that be the same time you were beginning the publication as well, or?
Oh, earlier. Well, I remember when I was a little kid, I got lengths of bamboo that rug had been wrapped in or something, a couple of pieces, and laid them out on the floor this way, and taken pieces of fabric that left over from something my mother had done and laid them down on top of them and sat in it like this. And I must have been 8 or 9 or 10 or something. I wasn't exactly building it.
Well,
but
it was the beginning of an idea to build one.
It's where that story came from, actually, the flight stories in the magazine. And I'd always liked the Bristol fighter. And I thought, when I was in Rochester, that maybe I could organize that. And I got original drawings from Bristol. Enough to build it from, probably. You have more of them now, but it was enough to start with. It's a big airplane. And the question, one of the questions was the engine. And I wasn't going to get a Rolls Royce. But at the airport in Rochester, they had a shop selling surplus military equipment. Or new, I guess. What do they call them? Supply houses? But you could buy helmets, or you could buy rifle butts, or different things, whatever you wanted in a military kind of a way. And they had a huge, wasn't a Ranger, it was built for the Bell XP-77, a little tiny Pursuit with a huge nose on it.
Mm-hmm.
What would that be?
You got me on that one.
Not a Hisso.
Referring to my books.
Yeah. Anyway, and they had one, it was new, and it was up on a big shelf like this. It went from here to about where you were, and up to the ceiling. And I looked at it and said, this is the engine that I would have to get, or something like it. It wasn't very expensive, and it was new. I mean, it was a marvelous thing. And the idea of having it in the house or moving it around was too much. And so I gave up on that, and so I thought I'd go for the other Bristol instead. So I swapped my drawings, or at least I said, I want to do this instead. And they sent me some more. So I got drawings for this and went with it.
And so when would that have been, when you started actually cutting wood?
That would be in Rochester, 50, 60, maybe 60,
Okay.
62.
So you fit right in one of the early builders then.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the project was moved with you when you came to Poughkeepsie.
That's right.
And was it built all at your house? In your garage?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Basement. And for a long time it sat on wheels, just the fuselage, down by the table that I built to build the rest of it on. It stood up. It's still up that picture. It's like
right up there.
It's like this one, yeah. Without the engine, without the cowling and all. And had bicycle wheels, because I didn't have any real wheels for it. And it sat down there, and I would sit up in it sometimes. It was very exciting. And people would come to see me, to see the airplane, to see World War I Aero and so forth. It was nice. And everybody that came, including people who knew about airplanes and people who didn't know about airplanes, they asked the same question, all but one. Literally, all but one. What do you think the question was?
Are you going to fly it?
No. That would be the second one. In the basement.
How are you going to get out of this?
That's the question.
Very good.
Everybody. Everybody. And here was a real World War I airplane, and the exception was a little girl who was about 10, and she was the daughter of somebody or other, and she looked at it and she said, what's it like, or what's it going to be like, looking around and seeing all these pieces you made holding you up? Stunning.
What a great question.
Marvelous question. And when I got to fly it, I felt that. I mean, what do I feel? This is an amazing feeling. After a while, it wasn't a wing anymore. It was part of the whole thing. But out there for a while, it was a wing, and I remember that wing. And it was that little girl who asked the question. Everybody else was worried about getting it out the door. I hadn't planned that. I'm going to take down the wall of the house. Anyhow.
Well, it's a great accomplishment to build an airplane and then to actually fly it. It's a wonderful thing. And I think as being the editor of World War I Aero, it, added to the reputation you've had is, not only does he write about it, but the guy actually knows. He actually built one, which is, you can't say that about everybody, myself included.
And Bill Hammond took all the pictures. He was very helpful. I had to weigh it to get a license or something, and it was here at the aerodrome. And we got several sets of bathroom scales and set it up and weighed it, so much at the tail and so much at the wheels, and you add it all together. I don't quite see why you add it all together, different parts of the airplane, but anyway. And then he helped with the rigging. He wanted wash in and wash out a little bit, so we rigged that in there.
I recall those days very fondly, because that was just when I was starting at the aerodrome. I thought, gee, who was this guy?
Yeah.
Brought this brand new World War I airplane out here, and now he's going to fly it. And it was exciting. And you talked a little bit about the Lerone engine. Can you tell us again that story of where that came from? Because those are becoming more and more rare, obviously. Yeah. But.
Well, it came from. I think I said to you. I think it was Peter Bowers. I got it from. I think, and he told me that there was an Air Force base in Ohio, which had a bunch of them. They used them during the war, and there was been a flood, and they've been damaged, and some of them, I guess, were new and had been damaged. And he sold me this one for $500. It was taken apart in a barrel, and for a long time the barrel was still in the basement, getting rusty. And it came home, and I thought I'd put it together. And then I thought that since this piece and this piece didn't quite fit, I didn't want to pound them. I didn't know how to adjust them. So I got a guy, you probably remember Tom, in New Jersey. He was
I know who you mean.
Mechanic.
The Magneto guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, it happens to all of us.
Yeah. Anyway, he put it together, and we came back up here. We put it on the airplane, and took it out in the backyard and in the garage next to the garage. Tied the airplane to a tree so it wouldn't move. Had a big propeller on it, and he spun it, and he was really angry because it took 2 tries to get it going, having been taken out of a barrel.
And you were sitting in the cockpit?
I was sitting in the cockpit. 2 tries, and he was so angry. He was disappointed.
It must have been a thrill when it fired off.
It ran just fine. Neighbors were curious too.
I'm sure they were. Did your wife ever question you on building the airplane and spending $500 on an engine?
Tom, you put on that list of names you gave me, people who are, the list. The first name, at the top of the list, is my wife. And that was very thoughtful of you. She's always been supportive and joyful, and never said I shouldn't, or never questioned any of it, really. She asked good questions a lot, and we talked about a lot of things, but there was never any problem with it.